Hi, my name is Malcolm McLaurin. I'm a middler at the School of Theology. I'm working on my Master's of Divinity from the Diocese of Olympia in Seattle, Washington.
Hi, my name is Clark Strickland. I'm a sophomore at the college, an American Studies major with a minor in African American Studies. So Malcolm, when you think of Dr. King's legacy, what comes to mind?
Two things that immediately come to mind when I think of Dr. King's legacy. One is his letter from Birmingham jail, this idea of two, the fact that he was responding to a letter from 8 clergymen who were sharing the message of wait, the time is not yet, wait. And Dr. King's response is, I'm done waiting. African Americans have been waiting for many years, and it's time to stop waiting. It's time to do. And highlighting the fact that when people say wait, it usually comes off as never, or it usually means never. So this idea of action when it's time and not waiting. The second thing that comes to mind is a quote from Dr. King that says, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. I imagine when he got this letter, well, actually it was a newspaper article from these 8 clergymen that was telling him to wait, that there's an opportunity for him to lose hope. That these fellow clergymen are telling him basically to slow down in doing the Lord's work and to wait. I imagine that there was a lot of disappointment. But Dr. King working on this idea of infinite hope, that he was never going to stop. He was going to continue no matter what, that his hope was infinite. Those are two things that immediately come to mind. So since we're talking about hope, as a student here at Sewanee, University of South, where do you find hope, Clark?
I think as an incoming freshman and well into the middle of my freshman year, I really struggled on how to find hope within the different things that I was doing until I realized I wanted to make it easier on someone who comes behind me. And so everything that I was doing was not only for myself, but for someone who was going to come behind me and have an easier day than I did. And so that kind of started with me getting more resources and advocating for more resources, especially for African American students on the campus. And so that really gave me hope for a better Sewanee, because I felt like at that time it wasn't what I thought it would be. And so I decided to work with faculty members, staff, and other students to make it what we wanted it to be, because I just felt like me drowning in a sea full of thoughts that I was saying, oh, well, this can't happen, or why isn't this happening? I just decided to make it happen with my peers. And so that was really what brought me a lot of hope.
This is an exciting time to be at Sewanee with all the great celebrations of 50 years of women on campus. What do you think of some of those celebrations? What do you think about them?
Well, I thought it was amazing because I was actually able to participate in the Women's Gala back in October, and I was able to talk about Teresa Saunders, Teresa Weston, in 1971. She was one of the first Black women to matriculate into the college. And so my speech started off probably 6 months before, just looking through old yearbooks when they announced the celebration of the 50 years of women. And I wanted it to be inclusive of all women. And so I felt like African American women needed to be recognized. And so with a group of my peers, we went in and we researched who those 2 women were. I was able to talk to Teresa Saunders. She lives in Maryland now, and she was able to give me some tips on my speech for her, and it was a really good experience. But now as we kind of go into the second semester, it's kind of a new feeling. So the 50 years of women's celebration is year long, and so I'm excited about the things that we're going to be doing and just different things like that. But I'm also kind of torn because it also falls on the 50th anniversary of the first Black graduate. And that's something that's not being really highlighted. And so I'm torn on whether to kind of celebrate one, which I can celebrate both. It's okay to celebrate both. But then it becomes, well, one isn't being recognized as fully, and it's important to me because without the sacrifices and the barriers that Nathaniel Owens broke down, being the first African American graduate in the college, I might not be standing where I am today. And so it's really important to me that I also find different pathways and ways that I can pay homage to him as well, because without his sacrifices and different things, like I said, you know, I don't know where I would be on this campus. So I've had a chance to talk to him as well, and I'm very excited to be writing some different things about that as well.
This idea of being torn is interesting on this campus. I drank the Sewanee Kool-Aid. I'm a full-on Sewanee Tiger, but knowing that there's aspects of being on campus that are really hard, you know, whether it's the name of buildings or the conversations of Confederates or just reckoning with the history of this place. This idea of celebrating something, but also wanting this thing to be better I resonate with that experience.
So, speaking of that, so where do you find hope in your experiences here?
Well, to be honest, I find hope in you. Getting to this campus and seeing the work that you're doing. You're one of the reasons I wanted to join the Roberon Project. And your voice in the community has been very powerful, and it's actually allowed me to come in and learn what does it mean to be Black at Sewanee, and to let my voice be heard. So my hope is in the work that you're doing, and I hope we continue to be able to work together.
Thank you. So one of the other great celebrations that we've been doing is the recent name change of formerly known as the Slavery Project, now the Robeson Project on Slavery, Race, and Reconciliation. That's been a big part of what I've been doing on campus, and it actually makes me very excited. I've been working with their Black Save Sewanee Black History initiative, and it's been amazing. I've got to work with community members and hear their stories, and just walk through the community, and it's been amazing, to say the least. I really enjoyed my time with them, and I've just felt like I've made lifelong connections, and something that I never would have done, you know, had I not reached out, different things like that. And I know you're on the Robeson Project working group as a student leader from the School of Theology, so, you know, how did you get involved with that? What made you want to join the working group?
Yeah, there was a couple of my classmates who, my first year here, they were a part of it, and there was an invitation to join the work that they were doing, and I wanted to make sure that my first priority being here was being a good student, so I kind of waited, but then there was this deep pool of knowing more about this community that was here before me, that experienced what it meant to be Black in Sewanee, whether it was at the School of the South or just being in the community. And I figured this was a really good way to meet those folks and learn that history. So my first real activity was the archiving, the first archiving event, which was absolutely life-giving and amazing. Learning about this whole new part of Sewanee that I didn't know was there, and had I not joined the Robeson Project, I might still not know it's there. So again, giving this community a voice. And this year, starting this year, I wanted to have more of a more working role there. And Woody invited me to be a part of the working team and again, that has just been one of the most life-giving things about being a student here in Sewanee and living in this community.
So Malcolm, did you have any final thoughts or anything about that?
Again, just glad to be here on this campus and being a part of this celebration. I look forward to seeing how this celebration grows and continues and grows. And again, working with students like you and learning how to have an empowered voice and seeing how I can help others' voice be empowered. Any closing thoughts for you, Clark?
I think for me, it's just reflecting on what I've done this year and different things like that. And on reflecting on the fact that if I didn't love this place, I feel like I wouldn't put as much work, I wouldn't put my heart and soul into making it something that's more inclusive for all, but something better for generations to come. So that when they look back on these videos or different things, I think for me, it's just reflecting on the past and how far we've come and the different experiences that past students have had, as well as how they connect to today and how we can make it better tomorrow for future students. I think that's really important, and it also makes me reflect on how much, I love being here, because I feel like if I didn't, I wouldn't put as much work or my heart and soul into different things that I'm doing. So I'm grateful for the experiences that I have now and the great people that are here on the domain and the experiences to come. So
Thank you.
thank you.